All right. Hey, welcome everybody. It is 7 o'clock Wednesday night. Time for Sci-Fi Distilled. Welcome back, Mary Beth. Of course, as always.
Hey, kids.
How are we doing?
It goes. My God, we're in the tail end of September. We're coming up on October now. Good Lord.
Ready. It's going to be fall, officially fall Saturday. It's not looking forward to that. I like fall because the bugs go to hell.
I do like fall because the bugs go to hell. I am a fall girl.
Cool weather, but I just don't like what it leads into.
Well, that's true.
We never get enough of good fall. We always.
But I enjoy a good pumpkin spice latte, so you know.
Those have been ruined.
Forever.
Anyway, so
we're
changing things up once again. We did this once before. We're not
sci-fi.
We're doing a comedy movie that we've always talked about, referenced many times. And this movie goes all the way back to 2004, right? I think.
Yes.
It's like
so next year will be 20 years old. How did that happen?
Yeah, I know, it's crazy because there seems to be like bursts. We were just talking about this really a little bit before we came on, and how there'll be a movie and then there'll be a whole bunch of movies just like it.
Just like it, yeah.
It was like this time. This was like one of those times. So we had this. We had Old School around the same time. I believe we had another one, the ping pong one.
Balls of Fury. That was a good one too. Oh, that's a fun one.
Wasn't as good as these, but so we had like all around the same time. We had these kind of silly, I call them kind of Animal House like movies. So
yeah, Vince Vaughn was having a moment because he was doing like The Wedding Crasher and stuff like that.
He did Old School too.
And Old School, yeah.
As well as not Old School too, but Old School as well. Which that would be another great one to do.
We should do that one. Yeah,
that's another one of my favorite movies as far as this type of genre. So adjust my camera a little bit there. Anyway, but before we get into all that, we have news.
We do have news. We have breaking news, kids. We have Writers Guild strike breaking news. You can say you heard it on Sci-Fi Distilled first. This happened today. Netflix's Ted Sarandos, Disney's Bob Iger, Universal's Donna Langley, and Warner Brother Discovery's David Zaslav are joining the negotiating teams, sitting down at the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers Sherman Oaks offices to join in these discussions. This is incredibly unusual for the CEOs to be directly involved in bargaining sessions, but they have to be directly involved to show the writers that they are serious. Studio leaders have cleared their schedules in preparation for Wednesday's discussions to go late. Some people are saying if the meeting goes well, this will extend into the night to nail things down. If it ends early, that may be a sign that there was no progress and they are still at an impasse. This started at like 10 a.m. Pacific, which would be like 1 for us, and is apparently still ongoing right now as we speak. So fingers crossed, maybe we'll get somewhere.
Let's get somewhere.
This is just the writers. This isn't the actors. So,
yeah.
All right. In DodgeBall news, hey kids, I have DodgeBall news. This was news from last April, and I don't know how I missed it, or maybe I already mentioned it in April. I don't remember. April 27th, it was announced, probably prematurely, that 20th Century Studios had started pre-production on a sequel, with Vince Vaughn set to return, possibly serving as producer. Now, before you get your hopes up, pre-production just means that Vince Vaughn and Ben Stiller got together and had drinks. Like, that's really all it means.
That's all that means.
Like, I guarantee pen has not been put to paper. They probably don't even have a story idea, never mind a script. However, back in April, when this news broke, multiple outlets excitedly ran with it, including a number of like morning news shows, and they were showing the clips from this movie that we're going to talk about tonight, which tells me there's an audience for this. Like, this movie is loved. I'm not going to say it's a cult classic, but it is loved. So
I almost call it. It's almost cult classic area, I think.
It could be a cult classic, sure. I mean, it's so funny.
I mean, I think it's so many people. I don't know anybody that says, "Oh, I don't like that movie." Like everybody.
No. I mean, there's a few moments in it. Like Rip Torn has a couple lines that make me cringe.
Well, Rip Torn he was just a god of an actor when it comes to comedy. I mean, he was so funny. It's just a shame. Of course, he was quite old, but he did pass away in 2019.
We will dive into this here in a few minutes. Let me move on to the news here. Hollywood has long been fascinated with the concept of artificial intelligence, but while the movies push the boundaries of possibility, real world advances in artificial intelligence raises all kinds of questions. So the team of experts out at Caltech, they're doing a science fiction versus science fact artificial intelligence on the big screen panel. I cannot tell yet. I've been trying to look this up. I can't tell if this is something that'll be streamed that we could all watch, or if you have to be a Caltech student to see this or what. But they are going to use pop culture storytelling as a springboard to discuss the state of real world AI technology and where it's heading, and can we trust it, and how to protect against misinformation and bias and other challenges. So they'll be using 2001: A Space Odyssey, Terminator, The Matrix, and Blade Runner, among other movies. It sounds really interesting. I'd love to see it. I will find out more information if you guys are interested. A new Loki trailer is out in anticipation of season 2. Everyone's favorite trickster, burdened with glorious purpose, will be back October 5th at 6 p.m. Pacific or 9 here on the East Coast. Is this a new date? Is this earlier than what was previously announced? I think it was
it was always going to come out in the fall.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it moved or not. Maybe there's probably going to be quite a chess game with releases as they run out of things to air.
Yes. I think that's going to happen too.
Because we're months and months now behind.
Yes, we are. This new season will be part of the MCU's Phase 5, which began in February with the release of Ant-Man Quantumania. Tom Hiddleston, Owen Wilson, and the rest of the gang, including Lower Decks' Eugene Cordero, will be back to set the timeline right and hunt down all the Kang variants. Actually, I don't know what the plot is. I don't know what's really going to happen. I strongly recommend either a rewatch of season 1, because this is one of those timelines and things get confused and there's variants. So I recommend either a rewatch of season 1 or a brush up before diving into season 2. And let us know, do you want a 3-minute review of Loki each week?
God knows I'm going to need one. You mean I'm going to need a review of last season?
I'm going to need a review of last season. I don't remember kind of where we left off. It's been a hot minute.
Yeah. I mean, that's the problem too, is we go so long sometimes.
We go so long between shows, yeah.
It's like we don't.
You know what? That happened with, of all the ones, I want to say The Sopranos. Was it The Sopranos? They had like a massive hiatus, and I just remember it went so long that after a while, I didn't even care anymore.
I don't remember them having too many cliffhangers, though. If I remember.
Besides the actual series finale?
No, that was awesome. I love that. I know a lot of people.
It was. It was.
I thought it was brilliant.
Last week I mentioned No One Will Save You and The Creator as 2 upcoming movies. No One Will Save You is an aliens. It's about aliens. It's going to debut on Hulu this weekend, September 22. This is the aliens get in the house and then horror. It sounds a little more like horror than sci-fi.
Oh yeah, you saw a trailer for that one. Yeah.
It might be good for October is coming to Halloween, spooky season is coming.
Like horror.
On the other hand, The Creator is currently being hailed as one of the best new movies of 2023, with one critic tweeting, even though this thing pulls from identifiable inspirations, meaning it uses all the old tropes that we all know and love, it is one of the best original sci-fi epics in years. It is massively entertaining, enthralling, and profound on every level. The director constructs an immersive world and fills it with compelling characters. Absolutely radical. This particular reviewer is not the only one. Everyone says it is awesome. So we will see that nationwide in theaters on September 29. So I don't know. I don't think I want to go to the theater to check it out. I'll wait till it streams. But
I can't remember the last time I went to the theater.
Me either.
I just wait till it comes out on streaming, which it usually does quite shortly after.
Yeah, you don't have to wait that long, really.
Especially if it's like a Disney
that stuff comes out like
Disney will put it on like a month after it gets released.
Yeah,
it'll be on
60 days, and it's out. Speaking of, this isn't Disney. We did get an Aquaman trailer for Aquaman Lost Kingdom. That'll be in cinemas on the 20th of December.
Do we want to know?
Yeah, and then finally, it didn't look that interesting. Like, I watched the Aquaman trailer, and I was like,
The first one was boring.
The first one was boring, and the second one is Mantis getting revenge, so I don't know. I don't feel like it's... But in more interesting news, we got a Helios recruitment trailer for All Mankind. Now, this is not a true trailer for season 4. And some people, the Apple press release, so you watch the trailer, and then the Apple press release says, simmering tensions between the residents of the now sprawling international base threaten to undo everything they're working towards. So some people are speculating that it is hinting at like a giant space war. Now, if this is true, the idea of humans on Mars getting into a civil war with humans on Earth is classic science fiction. The Expanse did this.
Expanse was the basis.
Babylon 5 touched on it, like, Kurt Vonnegut did, but I'll be very, very curious to see if that's what it is. If it tackles this idea, I'm sure the results will be, just as realistic as everything, like their 3 seasons prior.
I suspect all 3 the seasons so far have been great.
It's incredibly good. Each season of For All Mankind jumps ahead about a decade. The showrunners have a 7-season arc planned, so they know they want 7 seasons and then they're done. For All Mankind season 4 will be 10 episodes, and they will start dropping Fridays on November 10th and run through January. I can't wait. Actually, I can wait. I will probably wait until January until they've all dropped, and then kind of shotgun the whole thing. So
no, I'll watch them week to week.
It's so good. It's so good. We've got, if it's going to start November 10, maybe in early November we can do a For All Mankind season.
I'm not going to watch. I'm not going to wait till January. I don't do that. I'm not a big binger anyway. I tend to just.
Well, I like to.
Mostly watch
straight, and also I don't have Apple, so I'm going to have to watch it on questionably legal television. What's going to happen now is Rizzo's going to put up a countdown, and I don't know
which one are we doing first.
You want to do Ahsoka or Lower Decks
first? We'll do Lower Decks.
We'll do Lower Decks. Okay.
So add to. There we go.
You have Martin and Alex. That's the only people here tonight.
We got 3. Yeah. Aww. Anyway, so so Lower Decks. So there's a couple cool things in this one. One of they go to a ring world, Vexilon.
Yeah. Yes.
Which is definitely a throwback. Which is definitely a nod, in my opinion, to not only Halo, but Ringworld, the Larry Niven series of books. Which is basically the captain goes there, and the computer needs an upgrade because it's like millions of years old or something.
System update.
It sees updates, so she does they're all saying, we should get an engineer to do this. She's like, I can handle this, and of course it goes horribly wrong, and the computer. But this is a benevolent computer for a change.
It is benevolent. Yeah, you expect this thing to be like the evil, malevolent.
It's going to go wrong, but it doesn't.
Like the Apple.
What happens is because it locks up during the update. How many times have we all been there with trying to update? It starts like
rebooting, like it starts trying to reboot from scratch.
So it's like, so it starts having problems for all their weather, and everything goes crazy. And then the other side of the storyline is now we have our new Lieutenant JG's.
Everyone,
the funny thing was, I guess, was Boimler is now in charge of a landing party to repair some rather delicate equipment, right? And he's not letting them do it.
Takes teamwork, yeah.
It takes teamwork, but he's just doing it. Well, I'll just show you one more time.
Let me just do it for you, and you watch.
You watch.
They all watch. Until finally the volcanoes are blowing up, and it's the Vulcan who says, "Look, man, you need to delegate this," and she's right. What's
right, and they needed whatever he just undid. He needed to redo to stop the tragedy from happening. Yeah. So, it was not the strongest episode so far. I think the first 2 are much better.
First 2 were better, yeah.
Certainly the Tuvix one.
Yeah, the Tuvix one was better. And Moopsie was pretty cute too. In the meantime, back on the ship, Mariner and those guys are checking like all these chips. Like they have to check every single chip to see which one is, and they're like dying because they feel like it's really mundane work, but it ends up being incredibly important. So
right, they felt that they were being hazed.
They thought they were being hazed, yeah.
Yes, but they really were not. So overall, not a bad episode. Not their strongest, but they all can't be. This one didn't have a lot of references either.
It had the Move Along Home, like it had that.
Yeah, the Move Along Home thing from DS9.
That you see Rutherford
really
kind
bad
of
episode in season 1 from DS9.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what was it? Halamarine or something?
Halamarine, count to 4, Alamarine, then 3 more.
Yeah. Then Move On Home. So anyway, all right. So that's enough of that. Now we're gonna do Ahsoka, which was
Ahsoka, Night Sisters, Ezra, Thrawn.
So let me get our thing going here. Come on, play. Okay, so we're now in our other galaxy far, far away. The Imperials are there already on the planet. They're doing their thing. They're looking for Thrawn. They find Thrawn actually right away. they find Thrawn. We get to meet him finally. He's a little heavier than I would picture.
Oh yeah, me too. Hey, that's
a bit of a pot belly going on there, but okay, no big deal. But then, of course, Ahsoka catches up in the whales, and then of course we have Sabine now. They let her loose. Now I assume that they were letting her loose.
Yeah, they said go forth, find Ezra if you can.
Yeah, like basically thinking she's gonna die, I guess, out there by herself.
Yes.
But inevitably she finds Ezra from the rock little critter thingies.
Yes, those funny, and those are actually kind of cute and funny.
Yeah, this is typical Star Wars.
And then they send Balin and Shin after her. They're like, she'll probably die, but go make sure she's dead.
Yeah, kind of thing. But she finds Ezra, and of course, big reunion there, which is kind of cool. But the big reveal, I think, really wasn't so. It was Thrawn, of course, and he, this Grand Admiral. Of course, the funny thing is, I thought that they're out there with no support, yet the ship is, has been out there for what?
Yeah, they had a Star Destroyer and an entire battalion or brigade, I guess, of stormtroopers.
Well, yeah, that's probably standard compliment for a
standard compliment of a destroyer, and they've all survived. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little bit of, but it's Star Wars. We don't dig. That's still typical Star Wars. We don't dig into the.
We don't dig into the whys and hows.
Yeah, the whys and hows, right? Exactly.
I will give them credit. The look of the planet, I mean, it was just a desolate rock planet. But they had the Night Sisters, the Denathrians, what are the name of they had these cool, tall, skinny statues. That looked cool. That was something different. Like, I thought that was a nice, a refreshing change.
Dathomir is the planet that they're from.
Dathomir, yes.
So,
the people who supposedly
you guys don't know what we're talking about, or don't know what's going on. Again, this all came from both theories. Because the sisters were in, were in Rebels, and weren't they in Clone Wars too? They were definitely in, and they're also in some of the video games. So they are key. They are key to the story because that's all canon. They're kind of a sort of a mystic group. That's like a combination.
Darth Maul's mother was
but it was also kind of a combination between the Force and magic,
witchcraft,
like a magic kind of thing.
Magic.
So, anyway, good stuff. We got one more episode left?
Two, I believe actually two.
Yeah, I forgot to put our little banner up that says. Sorry if anybody didn't want to hear that and didn't know, because I forgot to put the spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Ignore the last 6 minutes.
Ignore the last 6 minutes. If you haven't seen Ahsoka yet.
We do have a drink. If you hadn't seen
You have a great drink for tonight.
And this one is pretty good. Vodka, orange juice, grenadine. Can't really go wrong with that. Ginger ale. Sounds very summery, refreshy.
You can dodge a wrench.
Because if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
You can dodge a ball. I love this movie. Oh my God, I love this movie.
There is a lot of things to like about this movie. And
this movie will make you laugh.
It's one of those,
and it's not politically correct. And it's kind of stupid. And some of the B and C and D plots are just shoehorned, like wedged in most awkwardly. And yet, somehow, you don't care.
They don't even really need to be there, but yet
they don't need to be there. That whole side thing with Justin doing the cheerleading, could have skipped that altogether, but somehow you're like,
the only reason that was there is so that he was late for the dodgeball tournament.
Made him late for the dodgeball tournament.
Thing. Yeah. That was like his only reason for that. And it's the same thing with it's the same thing with the pirate, with Steve the pirate. Remember, because he finally says, why, and he's walking around, and he's, and then so he's not there.
Yeah. So they had a forfeit. But here's the thing, is the original ending to this thing supposedly was Globo Gym winning. And test audiences were like, no. So the whole ending, like you can tell that whole ending is so contrived. And yet by the time he wheels out that big chest of money that actually says Deus Ex Machina in the lid of the chest.
Yeah.
By then you don't care. You're like, yeah, okay, whatever. I mean, you're just so happy.
It was kind of predictable and clever at the same time.
Yeah, it was predictable and clever at the same time. But I mean, this movie just for a movie that is kind of dumb and kind of shouldn't work. By the time you get to Vegas and you're watching the dodgeball on the Ocho, you're like really invested in each tournament, in each match. Yeah. and you're like paying attention. And I actually find myself wondering, like, I'd like to see some of the other matches and see how the other people were doing. Like, given some of their names,
the teams were hysterical because the Germans were all David Hasselhoff. Like,
they had David Hasselhoff.
I guess in Germany, I don't know. Is anybody in here from Germany? Is like David
Hasselhoff? He's huge. He would sing over there, and he was like,
really? Okay, so I didn't know that, but I did kind of glean that from the movie. So the Hasselhoff thing, and then of course the Japanese guys were all like kind of ninja sort of.
The Japanese guys, the hip hop dudes.
The hip, they were like the gangster rap guys.
Yeah,
they were each one had their theme, sort of thing.
Lumberjacks.
Yeah, the lumberjacks.
One was just a police department. Somebody's police.
There was just a police department. It was Las Vegas PD,
and one was like Poughkeepsie Community College or something. Like,
that was the first one. No, the first one was when they beat they were the Girl Scouts.
Yeah, the first one was the Girl Scouts. The regional match was the Girl Scouts. Yeah.
And there's the one girl, like, she clearly had been taking steroids because she had like.
Damn you, Bernice!
It's so wrong.
Because I'm so sorry. Due to the ADAA mandatory drug testing, one of your players has tested positive for 3 kinds of anabolic steroids and a low-grade beaver tranquilizer. Like, I don't know why.
One of them like a horse steroid.
Nowhere, and you're like, what?
One was like a horse steroid or something. It was hysterical. It's just so funny. So so they, of course, so basically the plot, in case you didn't know, is that there's 2 gyms across the street from here. There's Average Joe's, which is kind of like, that's Vince Vaughn's place.
Average Joe's, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of run down. It's very basic. It's, just a bunch of guys that can't afford to actually. And then of course there's nobody's paying their dues. And then there's Ben Stiller's place. White Goodman is his character. Global Gym. And of course it's very modern, and it's also very condescending. That you have to be perfect.
We're better than you, and we know it.
So he wants to buy Average Joe's because he's just expanding.
Like build a parking lot or something
Whatever. So of course, Vince Vaughn's character Peter needs money to pay the rent and back taxes or something, and so that's how he's I'll just buy it off you. So that's how they. But anyway, of course, and as these movies go, the plot is, of course, they decide to do to go into the tournament for the DodgeBall championship, because the amount of money that he owed was the exact amount of money that the prize was.
In all fairness, they did try a car wash first, but we saw how that went.
Yeah, there was a car wash of these older guys in very tight, trying to do like a car wash. It was quite disturbing, and it did not work very well. Martin saying DodgeBall is the comedy version of Karate Kid. Yeah, I guess, and kind of, it's an underdog story. Yes, it's an underdog story.
Yeah, it is called the subtitle.
It's in the name of it, right? I mean, it's DodgeBall, the true underdog story. So that's actually so I guess we could say that. So anyway, so they go to Vegas and they have this dodgeball tournament. The funniest thing is that they're supposed to have matching uniforms, and the guy says, "Well, I got rid of the old ones and I had new ones made." And then they show up. There's of course a mix-up, and they're all this S&M outfit. So they have to come out. They have to come out in the S&M outfit. The one guy in the gimp suit, and I mean, it was just freaking hysterical. And then at the end of the match, which they actually win, the people show up who actually.
Who got their uniforms?
Who got their uniforms?
The BDSM
guy, I love the little old guy in the wheelchair. He's like, "You must be like Big Daddy or something like that."
You must be Daddy, and he's taking the daddy choker off to give to him.
I don't know why I find that funny. So.
It's just funny. They come out. The one guy comes out with like the bit gag or whatever the hell it is. Like,
the whole joke is Dwight Goodman is such a piece of crap. Huge, he's a very he's self-centered. He's a sexist.
Yeah.
So that's why he goes after his bank auditor, I guess, who's supposed to be helping him. She's very attractive, played by Christine Taylor.
That's just his real life wife.
Yeah, and so that is kind of irony that she's so disgusted by him. But Dwight is such an interesting character in itself because he's very airy, like you say, but he also can't he has very bad social skills. Like, he can't talk.
Well, he has zero social skills.
Well, yeah. I mean, but he can't, like, he's trying to be tough and he ends up screwing it up worse and, of course, making himself look like a bigger jackass.
Like, after the regional match, when they run into him in the bar and he's introducing, let me introduce you to Blaze, Laser, Blazer, and of course Franz Stanatovich Davidovich, or whatever her name is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you're right.
He's got all ringers, basically, is what it is.
He has all ringers.
Because Christine's character is very good because she was a softball player back in college or whatever, and she had a hell of a cannon for an arm, so she was like their ringer. Yeah, she was like their ringer. So of course it's typical. A lot of this movie is very formulaic. I mean, you can pretty much predict. But I think the highlights of this, we didn't even talk about Rip Torn.
We got to go through. We'll go through the whole cast.
But I mean, just the fact how Rip Torn's character, because he's a dodgeball champion from way back. He Patches O'Houlihan. The younger version in the films is played by Hank Azaria.
Yeah.
So who's very funny, and of course Rip Torn is still now he's just a disgusting old man, and he's like that's so the joke is he's trying to teach them how to play dodgeball, and he starts throwing wrenches at them.
And then he makes them dodge traffic.
You can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. That's like probably the line from the movie that everybody remembers.
You can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Well, hey, and before we go through the cast, I want to give it up to Justin Long, who took a rubber wrench to the head and actually split his eyebrow open, and then it was the producer, not the producer, sorry, it was the director who was throwing, and then who took, like, guys, go on YouTube and watch the outtakes. They put the dodgeballs in this, what do you call it?
Those batting things.
He took like a batting thrower. Yeah. He stood there and just took hit after hit after hit, like, and reacted every time. Like, unreal. Mad props to Justin for all that physical comedy. That must have hurt, because he did it for like 20 minutes, just taking hits. Then Vince Vaughn gets in there and they shoot the first one at him, and he's like, whoa, that's way too hard, guys. You're doing that way too fast. You got to turn it down. So they like slowed it down so it would shoot out slower for Vince Vaughn. And Justin Long is sitting there like, I just took hits from that from like 20 minutes.
Well, Vince Vaughn was an older man at that time. Older than Justin. I don't know. You're right.
I guess older than
all right, so Vince Vaughn's a wuss.
They probably all were. You can tell if you really watch, you can see who was taking slower hits and who was taking. But it's just the sound of it. And here's the thing: is the sound of that ball whapping off people's bodies.
Well, I mean,
remind you of gym class when you were
honest. I mean, let's back up for a second. We were all kids in school. We all played dodgeball.
With
the big rubber red balls.
The sport of violence, exclusion, and degradation.
When you think about it, I don't know if they still play this in school. Maybe. I don't think
it's worldwide. Dodgeball has different names, but it is worldwide. But there's a movement to eliminate it because they say it's too
it's pretty violent.
It's just too cruel. It's straight cruelty.
It is.
Like you're trying to whack someone.
You're trying to hit somebody as hard as you can with a ball.
But that sound of that ball will take you right back to like third grade.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Those rubber
that rubber sound. Yeah. Now, guys, there are dodgeball leagues nowadays, and they do have something called a no sting ball. I don't know what it's made out of. Probably more foamy, I would think.
Yeah, I don't think it's those hard. No, they weren't really hard. They were inflated. But they're the kickballs. That's what we used to use.
Yeah, we used to same balls as kickball. Yep.
Yeah. So
murder ball. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of funny that they made a movie about this, which is kind of in some ways, but so basically in the plot, so Rip Torn being the 80, what is it? The rules.
The American Dodgeball Association of America.
So Rip Torn's character Patches is the champion, and he's going to train him. And of course, as usual, as typical with this is like so formulaic. He's going through the casino in Vegas, and the Lucky the Irish sign for one of the slot machines falls.
Like they literally set it up.
Killed him.
Vince Vaughn is like, as long as we have Patches with us, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Cue the thing.
Boom. Right. He had that one line where he goes, what is it? He goes, something about drinking his own urine because it's sterile and I like it.
I like the way it tastes. That's one of his lines that I don't like. That makes me cringe. And the other one is, "You're about as useful as a," I can't say it. It's actually very naughty. I won't say it. You're as useful as a blank flavored lollipop. I won't say what it is. For some reason that bugged me. Like that really.
What, the fact that he drinks his own urine because it's sterile? And
both of those lines. This movie's.
Well, it spoke to his character that he didn't have any character.
That just make me cringe.
He didn't have any character. That was the whole point. Don't you remember? He's like, I got a couple of hookers up in the room. You want to,
He's horrible. The White Goodman character is horrible.
Dwight Goodman's character. One of the funniest. You noticed my thing. The funniest thing is when his henchman walks in on him and he's got the pizza, but it's like down his pants.
Yes. And Michelle's like,
how many times have I told you not to disturb me during my private reflection?
Yeah, my private reflection time. And you can hear the video he's watching, and now we're gonna take the sauce and we're gonna spread it all around. Now that you got the dough. Oh, you're like, oh God. That and the other scene where he's got the donut and he's like hooked up to the battery and he's gonna like electrocute himself for eating the donut.
Yeah, because he was fat at one point in his life. And
which if you stayed through the end credits.
Yeah, he's right back at it eating.
He's right back in the fat suit again. There's a very funny bonus scene at the end of the credits with him messing with the fat suit and singing My Milkshake. Khaleesi's Milkshake song.
So shall we go through cast?
Yeah, let's go through the cast before we do the two, and then when we finally get to the tournament in Las Vegas, the highlight of the tournament is Cotton and Pepper, the commentators.
We haven't even talked about the Ocho.
And we haven't even talked about the Ocho or Lance Armstrong. So let's go through the cast here and just talk about some of their highlights because they all had.
Ben Stiller's probably I wouldn't say he's the biggest name. There's everybody in this movie has got a name.
Everyone is
Ben Stiller, we know him from many movies, obviously.
Night in the Museum,
Tropic Thunder was the most.
The Fockers, Meet the Fockers.
Yeah, so of course,
Greg,
Something About Mary.
Milk me.
I think it's probably his biggest hit was Something About Mary.
So, was he in Something About Mary? Yeah, I guess he was.
Yeah, you remember? Oh,
all I remember
is that Moose?
Like that.
Is that Moose?
And then she's like,
so I think that was probably his. But yeah, so he's also his father.
Oh, and the zipper. Yeah, that's right. Doesn't the zipper?
Yeah, Franks and Beans.
Anyway,
his father is Jerry Stiller, and
his dad is Jerry Stiller.
Frank Costanza, George Costanza's father, who's very funny, and of course, so it was in the family, obviously.
And his mom played a bunch of stuff too. You'd recognize his mom.
Yeah, yep.
Her last name is Mira, Ann Mira.
Yep. So we got him as White Goodman, who is the funniest thing was when they shows up at Kate's house. Just want to say it,
Trail Gang Apache.
Well, he said, he's got the white leather suit on. And he thinks and then he gets on the scooter with the henchman guy. Like, instead of a car, he's got a scooter.
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood. I got the bank to fire you so I could begin my courtship of you. What? You did what? But like, there's just so many weird little extra things. Like, so here comes the Vince Vaughn Peter. His name is Peter LaFleur. He comes wandering up and makes White go away to kind of rescue. Not that she needed it, because she slammed him into the wall.
Right. No, she doesn't need his protection.
And he goes wandering into her house, and her entire house is unicorns. And it's just this weird little side thing. Like, did we need that? No. Did we find it amusing? Sure.
It's just added value.
Wall unicorns.
Added value in the comedy section.
Added value. Yep. Added value.
I like his gift card, for a free massage.
Yeah. You play cards right, that'll be full body. An expired movie pass and a coupon for a free back rub.
So moving on from Ben, we have Christine Taylor. We talked, that's actually Ben's wife. She is the spitting image of Marsha Brady.
Yes, she played
Marsha Brady. but she really does look like the original.
Yeah, she
actor.
looks like her too. Yeah, she looks like.
So I don't know what else. She's been in a bunch of stuff other than that. She of course plays the ringer. That she can play. Of course, the funny thing is that she's got to be a lesbian. That was kind of the joke.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Yeah.
And then at the very end when she gets with Vince,
Joyce,
her friend who's because she's actually bi, so the friend comes along and.
And there's actually a deleted scene where she's kissing Joyce, and then she turns around and she starts kissing Peter. And there's a deleted scene where then Joyce starts kissing Peter, and they're all kissing, like the three of them are all kissing together. Yeah, just weird little side.
She gotta be gay.
She gotta be lesbian.
She's gotta be lesbian.
All I know is that dyke can throw.
Yeah,
like it's not politically correct. Like you're gonna be some things in this movie that are gonna make you cringe.
Nope.
And the entire Lance Armstrong section nowadays, now you look at it and you're like,
well, yeah, the Lance Armstrong, that was.
But we'll get to it. Let's keep going through the cast.
Anyway, so Vince Vaughn, of course, he was hugely popular around this time when this movie came out. He was doing, like I said, we've already covered a bunch of the movies that he's done. Of course, along with this is Old School, Wedding Crashers. God, a bunch of stuff that he did. So he was pretty popular at the time, but he does this movie, I think, is probably one of his better ones. He always kind of plays the same kind of guy, really.
He does always play the same guy.
Yeah, I mean,
first time I saw him in was a horror movie with J-Lo. But then after that, he pretty much stuck to the comedies.
Yeah, it works for him.
It works for him. Yeah.
So, of course, then we move on to Rip Torn, who is just one of my favorite actors of all time. If he was, if you go all the way back to, I don't know if anybody's a fan of the Larry Sanders Show from HBO back in the early 90s. He was his manager. He was like the producer of the show, of the Larry Sanders Show. So, but he was hysterical in that role.
Yes,
he was really funnier than Gary Shandling was in that role. Of course, if you guys have never seen the Gary Shandling, it's worth watching. It's worth watching. It's dated in the sense that it is the 90s. It's very early 90s. So, there are some stuff that really doesn't translate to today, but it's still funny.
Yeah.
It's still funny.
And Rip Torn is just one of these guys. You've seen him everywhere. You know who he is. You just probably don't. Maybe you get him mixed up with Brian Cox, but
most people know him from Men in Black.
Yeah, you'll know him from Men in Black as the head agent there.
Yeah.
But he's been working since 1956, right up till his death in 2019.
Yeah.
So yes, you have seen him in everything.
Yeah, he's one of those. He's a very character actor. He's been in a lot of stuff.
Yep. Yeah.
You'll know him if you see him. But yeah, to me, it was always Larry Sanders Show that I probably remembered him from the most. Of course, this movie, among many that he was in, but those were probably the highlights. So
and TV, a bunch of TV too.
Yeah. So then we had Justin Long, who we all know from Galaxy Quest.
You know him from Galaxy Quest.
He was our geek on the ground. That I know it's not real.
It is real.
It is real. Oh my God, I knew it. So, and then of course he's been a bunch of stuff, of course, after that, aside from this. And then
he did Accepted. That was fun. Zach and Miri Make a Porno. That was a funny one.
He always plays kind of a nerd.
He kind of always plays the same character, yeah. Although, he's getting older. He's like in his 40s now. He's
not that young anymore.
Veronica Mars, who's on Veronica Mars, he's just around. Like you will know him immediately as soon as you see him, and he's just around.
Yep. So who else we got? So Stephen Root is another actor that's everywhere. Of course, some of you might know him from The Office. That's my stapler.
That's my stapler. My red stapler.
You might know him from Man in the High Castle.
He's in everything.
You might know him. He was
in True Blood. He's in everything.
Yep. You might know him. What was the one where he was actually in Book of Boba Fett?
He was in Book of Boba Fett. Yep.
He was in. There was a robot chicken. But he was also in. There was a radio show he did with.
Yes. What is that?
The name of the damn radio show now.
On TV, the radio. Yeah.
It was with the guy from Second City.
Hang on. Hang on. Night Court, LA Law. Hang on. He's around.
It was. We'll say it was.
He was on Star Trek Next Gen, so he did 2 episodes. Captain Kavada.
Yeah, so the guy's just been in an absolutely everything. Of course, this one he plays kind of the wimpy guy again.
He excels at that. He does a lot of
that. He kind of does both. He's done. Oh, you know what he was in most recently? What was the show on HBO? About the serial killer guy.
Dexter?
No, it's like that. It's similar. Barry. Very good show. It's on HBO. It's about a guy who's basically a contract killer who tries to get out of being a contract killer. And he plays the guy who kind of sets up his contracts.
Okay.
Anyway, good show. If you've never seen it.
Right when you can't think, I can't. Oh, yeah, Barry. Yeah. Right when you think I can't keep up with all his television movie appearances, then you realize, oh man, he's also does a ton of voice work too. So
yeah, he's all over the place.
Is everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah, he's really probably one of the hardest working men. Well,
hardest working men in show business. Yeah.
But he'll always be the guy with my stapler. From Office Space.
Excuse me. I think you have my stapler.
No, Joel David Moore. He was Owen.
You'll know him as in Avatar. He was in Avatar.
Yeah, I mean he's around. He's done a bunch of stuff for Shield. I can't think. He's not super popular, but he's just one of those guys that you'll recognize him.
He's got a look. You know what I mean? He's tall. He's thin. He's got that look to him, so you know him right away. Yeah,
he was the one that, like, in this movie when you got Steve the pirate, and he's like, "Who?"
Yeah, we have a pirate on our team, and you're like, "Where have you been?"
Which was a whole nother side, like you say, another side story that you're like, "What does this have to do with anything else?" But Chris Williams plays, of course, is another. He's another one. If you look at his IMDb, he's done a ton of stuff.
Yeah,
he's always around. He did one of my favorite movies, which was World's Fastest Indian. Played a I guess I don't know, a transgender character, I guess you'd call it. But it was. He's a really good actor. Ton of stuff.
Ton of guest spots on TV.
Yeah. He's been very funny. Of course, then our favorite, Alan.
Alan Tudyk.
Tudyk, of
course, for Firefly.
Alien, Firefly.
He's everywhere.
He does tons of voice work. We all know Alan. He's another one that's just everywhere. Very talented man. Did a really funny online show with Nathan Fillion. Somebody helped me out with the name. It was hysterical because it was basically about them, how Nathan was the more popular on the show kind of thing. And it was kind of what the heck was the name of it?
I don't know.
Somebody help me out. I know somebody's seen it. I'm going to look it up now.
I'll look in the comments, see if anybody knows.
I want to say it was Zootopia. I didn't know that. He does so much voice work. It's like
he does a ton of voice work.
I'm gonna look it up. Keep talking.
I don't know. Dave says Beastmaster. Oh, who's the villain of the Beastmaster, Dave? Who was that?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Anyway, moving on. After Alan Tudyk, who's everywhere you want to be, we have Missy Pyle, who you know best from Galaxy Quest, but she's
another Galaxy Quest mom. Yep.
She's Fran Stalinoskovich Davidovitsky, the professional dodgeball player from Romanovia.
Right, with the really bad teeth.
With the really bad teeth and the unibrow that Owen is in love with.
Yeah, that was the one. Can I find this damn?
And you know the funny thing is, at the end when she and Owen get together, she's got him pinned down on the floor and she's like basically licking his face. And in Galaxy Quest, when she gets with Monk, what's his name?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
What's his name? She's playing the alien. She's got him pinned down and she's basically licking his face too. It's like her go-to move for when she's playing a weird character that's in love with a human.
She's kind of she can't show. Well, I say she plays the character the same every time, but anyway, I can't find the show I'm talking about, but it was.
That's all right. I'm gonna keep moving on here. Jamal Duff plays
Tony Shalhoub. Tony Shalhoub is the character.
Oh, Tony Shalhoub is who I'm thinking of. Yeah, she's licking his face in Galaxy Quest. Jamal Duff, a former professional football player. He's been on a bunch of shows, usually playing a thug or a heavy or a cop or something like that. He's the fitness consigliere. Gary Cole, who we know from Office Space as
many things. Again, Gary's one of those guys out there. If you've watched Veep, I don't know if you watch Veep, another on HBO.
Oh yeah. That's right. He's on Veep.
He plays like an analyst on that show. He's actually pretty funny. It's kind of dry. Of course, you go all the way back to the Babylon 5 spinoff. He was the captain on that show, which was what the hell's the name of it? Crusade.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He was.
So yeah, he was the captain of the Excalibur. So so he goes way back to that. He was in. You just know, like he was also had a fairly good, decent role in Entourage.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. He was in Entourage too. Yeah.
So he's been around. He's one of those actors. But of course, we didn't really talk about him because the next one is Jason Bateman.
So Cotton McKnight and Pepper Brooks are the two commentators.
Cotton and Pepper are the commentators on ESPN 8, the Ocho, which is hysterical.
Whole strategy, Cotton.
8 ESPN channels, and it's down to the Ocho where they do like what was it, llama wrestling or some stupid thing like that.
If it's almost a sport.
If it's almost a sport, it's on ESPN 8, the Ocho. So those of you that know us from Thai, when we go up to Thai, we do call the Super 8.
We do call the Super 8 the Ocho. We say we're going to hang out the Ocho
now. And it is because of this movie that we call it the Ocho.
It's because of this movie. In all fairness, ESPN rather enjoyed it and leaned into it and has had Ocho days where they call themselves the Ocho and they show some weird crap. They do it every now and again. I happen to notice that they're going to be doing it again. I will let everybody know so that we can all enjoy the Ocho for real. But yeah, they leaned into this and they were like, this is a good idea. Let's run with it. They first started doing it. They do it during a lack of live sports during the COVID pandemic. ESPN announced March 22, 2020, that they would go ahead and be the Ocho for the day and just show weird whatever. Yeah. They did it again in August and they've done it a few more times.
But the commentary, especially Bateman's character, it's like they're gonna have to forfeit. That's a pretty bold move, Cotton.
Let's see how it works out for him.
That's an interesting strategy, Cotton. We'll see.
Most recently, ESPN2 was the Ocho on August 3rd, just this past August. So yeah, they do it every now and again, and they will show this movie, and they will just show like whatever weird stuff they can find. And you know what? I kind of love ESPN for that. Like, I love that they see the humor in this, and they're gonna roll with it.
Well, because everybody loves.
Because everybody calls it the Ocho. They're like, let's watch it on ESPN, the Ocho.
Yeah. So.
And now we're down, I think, to basically the cameos, and there's 1 million cameos.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, Hank Azaria is a little bit more than a cameo because he plays the young Patrick. They watch a film back from the 50s or 60s or something, and it's the young version of Patches O'Houlihan. He's showing you how to duck, dodge, what is it, and dodge. And so dodge is in there twice. The 5.
Dodge.
Duck, dodge. I don't know what I remember what it was, but. So yeah, so he of course Hank he's done. Of course, Simpsons is probably his major.
Oh yeah, Hank Azaria is around.
But I mean,
he was in Mystery Men, which I think he's doing one of these days.
He was in the Birdcage. He was hysterical in the Birdcage. Oh my gosh! Yeah, he played the like he was sort of like their not butler, but he was like
they're
totally like serving the food and stuff. Like he was the. So, it's a stew. Anyway, watch it. If you've never seen the Birdcage, oh my God, it's so hysterical. Robin Williams and who's the other guy?
Yeah, that's a classic right there.
Yeah, it's a classic. Anyway, so then really the cameos, right? Lance Armstrong, we kind of talked about. Okay, boo his.
Lance Armstrong, yeah.
Sorry, but he had not fall from grace at this point. So, and then
what cracks you up is you're listening to his lines. His lines are like, well, when I had brain, lung, and testicular cancer all at once, I got back up. And in your head, you're like, yeah, that and the performance-enhancing drugs that you took.
Right.
So, yeah, it's just sad now. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was going to say the two, of course, standout cameos is Chuck Norris, who doesn't say anything. He just does that. And then, of course, our good friend, Bill Shatner. Bill Shatner is the dodgeball chancellor, and of course he has to make the decision of who wins or who gets whether they go into sudden death. So yeah, so
we had Curtis Armstrong as the ref in the regional one. Susie Nakamura is Gordon's wife. She's been in a bunch of stuff. You just don't know you know her. She was most recently in
L for Love.
L for Love.
L for Love.
She was in Fifth Avenue on HBO, which was that weird space cruise ship thing. Like she's just been in a bunch of stuff. You just don't know that she's been. You just don't know.
Right. That didn't get picked up for a third.
No, it didn't. I really loved it. It was so dry. It was so dry.
It got
Archer and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I watched it, and it was watched.
She plays on Tacoma. Didn't make it though. Yeah. It's really dry. I understand why it didn't get picked up. She plays in Veep. She plays in Tacoma FD. She's just around. Anyway, the other one I was going to mention for Patton Oswalt does some voice work, and is that it? Yeah, I think that's it. Lance, Chuck. Oh, David Hasselhoff. We mentioned him.
We did with David Hasselhoff.
That's the other team. So we had Lance, Chuck, David, William Shatner, and I'm going to say Curtis Armstrong and Susie Nakamura and Patton Oswalt as our millions of cameos.
Yeah. Of course, none of them were even that popular. I don't think Patton Oswalt was even hardly known back then. He was doing maybe stand-up, but...
Yeah, he was probably doing stand-up.
So anyway, that kind of rounds out the cast, and we're getting near the end of the hour. So of course, it is kind of an underdog story. I mean, that's exactly what it is. I said it's very formulaic in a lot of ways. The side stories of the pirate, that Alan's character thinks he's a pirate all the time, and then of course he realizes at the end that it's stupid, and then of course he comes back at the end. Arr.
But Peter's mean to him. Peter is so mad about because White goes to Peter's room and says, "Hey man, here's $100,000. Just sell me the damn gym." And we don't know what Peter does, but Peter's clearly upset because then later on he's just so mean to Alan Tudyk. He just shoves him against the wall and he's like, "You're not a pirate." It was so.
Well, I think he was at that point. He was like, "Enough of this." You kind of got the point where he was like, "I've had enough. I'm always supporting you guys all the time. I can't do it anymore."
Oh yeah, because they were all just like, "Well, what?" Because Patches had just
what are we going to do? They're always looking. They were always looking to him, and so so I think that's where that came from. And then of course everybody, at the end, they all come back together, obviously, because some of them are late, missing the tournament. That's how they almost had to forfeit.
It's a bylaw.
It's very bold.
It's a bylaw. Give me it back. It's a bylaw.
Yeah. It's a pretty bold strategy.
Shatner is so funny, and he only has 2 scenes and 4 lines, and he's
he probably got paid like a gajillion.
Oh, and then when they what's the thing, and he's clapping, and he goes like this, and then he starts clapping. I love that. It's in the end of this movie where he's all excited about something and he's clapping. Oh,
I don't remember that part, but I'll take your word for it.
Oh, it's hilarious.
The whole movie is funny. It's silly. A lot of, again, we've talked about this before, where it's things that it shouldn't be this funny. It shouldn't.
No, it shouldn't.
Be this
enjoyable. He's putting a blindfold on. He's not going to be able to see the cotton.
He's not going to be able to see cotton. It's a bold move.
Bold. They're forfeiting. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it pays off for him.
It pays off.
Pepper's an idiot.
I want to say
Pepper's an absolute idiot. Cotton's actually trying. Cotton's sitting there
and Pepper, though, are almost the highlights of the movie.
Yeah, they really are.
It's they're hysterical the way
we had sudden death. We haven't seen this since the Helsinki incident of 1939. I've seen the pyramids of Egypt. I've seen a grown man satisfy a camel, but I've never seen this.
I know he just delivers those lines too. I wonder how many. I have to see the outtakes for it because it's it's.
We just need a Cotton and Pepper show. Never mind Dodgeball. I just want the Cotton and Pepper calling stuff. The other character, you know who else I really like? F and A. The other one I really, really like is the referee, the head referee in Vegas.
Oh,
That guy's
is actually Al Kaplan. Yeah, I
he's a
don't know
real
if he's done
referee.
anything else. Yeah, he's been kind of like the straight man through the whole thing.
He's kind of the straight man, but his face is so delight. Like when he's like, rule 113D, sudden death. Like his face lights up. Like he's excited too. It's sudden
death. The special ball with the skull and crossbones.
He's got the special ball with the skull and crossbones, and he's doing like the Luke Skywalker, and you've turned your targeting system off. Yeah. He's just gonna do it by feel.
Yeah, with the disgusting scarf from.
All right, talk to me, Patches. And Patches is like, whatever. Bye.
Yeah. It was a very, very Star Wars-esque moment. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say about this movie. We obviously very enjoy it, muchly. It's funny. I hope you guys enjoyed us doing this. If you want us to do more comedy rather than sci-fi, once in a while, we're not going to go all comedy, but we thought
the name of the show is still Sci-Fi Distilled.
It is still Sci-Fi Distilled.
We're not doing 2 a week like Roy. We're not going to do Comedy Distilled and then Sci-Fi Distilled.
I can barely do
this one. 1 a week is enough.
The only other one right off the bat I would do comedy-wise would be Super Troopers.
Yes. Oh God, yes. That would another one of these us just quoting it all night long.
All we do is quote that.
Quoting it.
Constantly. Yeah. That one in the
second one. I want to have
a
group watch and try. Like I would love to watch some of these things with all you guys. Just
yeah, we would have to. What we'd have to do is we'd have to do it like a sync thing. Like y'all get on YouTube or whatever it's on, and then we start at exactly the same time. And then if you wanted to listen to us commentary to a movie, we could do it to any movie. We could do it to a bad.
We could do it to any movie.
So that you guys watch it, and then you hear our commentary, a la Mystery Science Theater. But we can't show it and commentate at the same time.
No, we can't. We'd have to mute it probably.
Yeah, we'd have to. It's copyrighted, so we'd have to. You guys could watch it. We would watch it, and then you would just watch us commentating on it.
You would be aware that it's playing in the background.
Right, we can try it if you guys are really into it and want us to give us a shot.
Yeah, we can try it. If there's something you want us to talk about as it's playing. If you've got 2 hours to kill some night.
Right. Well, we could do some bad science fiction movie that's only like maybe 90 minutes.
Yeah, we could do that. Some Saturday night in the winter when we're all snowed in and there's nothing else to do.
There you go. Who knows? We'll try it out. I have to test it and see how it works, but we're willing to do. We're willing to learn.
We want to entertain you.
So, all right. Well, it's almost 8:00. What does Roy and
Roy has a really good one. Roy is doing 1967's Hammer film starring Raquel Welch, 1 million years BC. You've all heard of it. I know you have. Phil, tomorrow afternoon, is going to be talking to the Space 1999 Eagle has landed Kickstarter guy, Jeffrey Morris. He'll be on in the 3:00 hour, and then the rest will be new music and Prague stock news. If you want to tune in Thursdays at noon, Bill McNulty it's kind of like a political show, but Phil's going to go on, and they're going to pretend that they went to the Beetlejuice play that Bobert got kicked out and make fun of Bobert. So it might be funny if you guys all want to tune into that. I think I might tune in tomorrow at noon if I can.
That's shooting fish in a barrel, making fun of her.
Making fun of her. Oh God, yes.
Right, Martin. I was going to mention that the short. Yeah, right. The Raquel Welch movie. There's a poster in Shawshank.
That's right.
Furry britches.
Is it the one that actually he's sticking behind her?
Yeah. The one he throws the rock and it goes through and he
rips it open.
Rips it open. Yep. What about you, furry britches?
Don't start barking.
Yep, that's the poster.
And then we've just got one more week of September, and then October is upon us, spooky month.
Yeah,
we'll be
doing the
various.
We'll try to do scary movies.
Spooky or
scary movie, but scary
or ghosties or whatever. Whatever's Halloween related, maybe some vampires. I don't know.
We'll do something. We always come up with something different.
Halloween's like my favorite for this show.
It is. It's funny, and I don't know. We haven't talked to Roy, assuming we're going to do our traditional Halloween.
Yeah, and I hope I have a costume ready. I'm prepared.
You do. You always have good costumes. I'm lame with the costumes.
I think you and I might match this year unintendedly match. So I'm excited for that.
I don't know what I'm doing.
In that case, we may not match this year.
So anyway, yeah. So I don't know what we're doing next week. What are we doing next week?
We've got 1 week to kill. We're not ready to do Jeopardy yet, are we?
No, I'm still working on that. So sorry. That might be like a holiday. I think maybe like a Thanksgiving.
Maybe the holidays, yeah, or the Christmas break
like a holiday, like a Thanksgiving or Christmas special thing.
Dodgeball cosplay. I can't dress up as Kate Beach. I could dress up like Fran Stalinatovich Davidovich, or the hell her name is.
Teeth
with the teeth and the unibrow. I can do that because she had the Princess Leia hair. Remember, Fran
did right? Yep, she did have the Princess Leia hair. Yep,
and then the red jumpsuit.
So.
Oh my God, Martin! Maybe I should go as Fran. Oh my God.
Dodgeball cosplay. I don't know. I'd have to. Yeah, there was.
You just be Peter and just wear yellow.
That actually is a costume. If you look it up, you can buy.
You can find the Average Joe shirt.
You can buy the Average Joe's whole outfit.
That's it. All you need is an Average Joe T-shirt, and boom, you've done your cosplay.
That's it. There's your cosplay.
You're Peter LaFleur.
I'd rather be Cotton or Pepper.
Yeah, they didn't wear anything. Pepper kind of looked.
Pepper had like a weird,
spiky hair and a little bit weird. Cotton just was wearing a button down.
I can't. Yeah, he also has a lot more hair than me. So
yeah, he did have hair.
Anyway, we'll have to talk to Roy. I'm sure we'll probably end up doing it because it's always kind of funny with the four of us, Ross and Roy. Two of us.
As long as he picks a good, as long as he doesn't pick whatever the heck it was he picked.
Well, that's right. Usually, he had some horrible ones.
Always something weird.
Well, originally he was going to do that Shatner one. Was it the spider one? Wasn't it? No, it wasn't even that one. It was
the one where he talks in Esperanto.
It was like some demon one or something. It was really bad. And then we ended up doing. What did we end up doing last year?
Some weird puppet one. Oh, or stop motion action one.
Oh, right. The Monster Island thing.
Monster Island.
That one was, yeah. They're never good. Maybe we need to
suggest invite them on our show this year.
Maybe we should do that. I think we should, What day is Halloween this year, guys?
Halloween is on Tuesday. So we can either do it the 25th or the 1st of November.
Yeah, you can't do it the day after. It's done. It's done.
So we'll probably be on his show the 27th, probably Friday the 27th.
Yeah. So all right. Well,
Martin, I'm totally into Fran. I'm already googling it. Let's look up Fran.
You got to get the
dodgeball.
You got to get the teeth.
Cosplay. Oh my God, people have done it. When you Google it, there's lots of people dressed up like Fran. Sometimes in the Globo Gym and sometimes in the red. Now I need.
Well, for you, it's just like the hair and the teeth.
Just the hair and the brow, and then like a red jumpsuit.
You got to get the teeth, though.
The teeth.
The bad teeth. That was the whole point. So, anyway, next week, I don't know. We talked about doing Logan's Run. I think we had.
Oh, that's right. We were gonna disobey the rules of engagement, and
we always disobey the rules. We both do. I don't know. Is that something you guys want to do?
You want to do some old school stuff? You want us to do some new school stuff? What do you want, guys? We're here
let's get some suggestions. I'm trying to think.
We're here to entertain.
Well, anyway, we'll come up with something. We don't have to decide this moment, since nobody's I don't see the chat blowing up with ideas. It's like, anybody out there? You guys still there? You guys still hello? Anyway, all right. On that note, I will say good night. Live long and prosper.
I'm writing down teeth.
With you, all
unibrow, hair, and a mole. Says there's a mole.
Yeah,
and then red jumpsuit.
Writing this down now. I don't know why, but okay.
I feel a Fran coming on.
Fran, okay. Well,
feel a Fran coming on. All right, guys.
All right, guys. We'll see you later. Good night. Have a good one. See you next week.
Bye.